Hello and welcome to another pint of Bloke in a pub. What on earth are they doing over in the colonies? So this time, as you can see, we're doing a US presidential election special, and as you can see from my surroundings appropriately, we're not in a pub, we're in the twilight zone. Now, if you're going into any pub quiz, any self-respecting contestant would go in with a decent level of general knowledge. So to explain what's happened, what we need to do is do a quick review of history and how the US system of government works. It really comes from about 1778, when the founding fathers of America really had enough of the King of England telling them what to do, taking taxes without allowing them to represent themselves. So there's a bit of argy-bargy, and they tell the king to sling his hook. The problem is, none of them have run a country before, so they come up with a series of rules called the Constitution. And you'll probably be familiar with some of this. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And there's obviously some small print there, this all men are created equal so long as you're exactly the same as us. But not to worry, they obviously decide they're going to run America like a corporation. And at the head of a corporation, you need a governor, and this is the president. And his job is to defend the Constitution, is to be the commander-in-chief, it's to set the tone for policy, it's to hire and fire the senior people, and to broadly be a figurehead, so that he does the meet and greet when a visiting dignitary comes over, make sure there's plenty of trifle and jelly, that kind of thing. Now, Americans won't have someone wielding supreme authority, they won't have a king, no siree Bob. So put some stops, balances and checks on the power of the president, you have Congress. And these are representatives from all the states, and this is the bit that actually makes the laws, agrees the budgets and reins the president in case he's going to do anything really mad like bomb a small country, something like that. Or have strange hair possibly, I don't know. Now there's always the possibility, of course, that the Congress may be taken over by mindless zombies under the influence of an evil emperor. Now if that happens, you've got the Supreme Court, and their job is to make sure that any laws passed by the Senate or proposed by the Senate are actually constitutional, so they fit with the Constitution. Americans don't like the idea of having a king, so they make sure they limit the power of the president as well by having an election every 4 years, and they can only do 2 terms. There's been one exception to that, but he was an exceptional president, and there's a prize for anyone who can tell me who that is. Answers on a postcard, first answering is going to win. Well, the reason is that America is the biggest single economy in the world. It's a quarter of the entire world's economy. They've got some of the biggest and wealthiest companies with the greatest global reach. They've got the biggest army in the world, so their ability to stamp their authority on foreign policy on anyone they don't much like is also there. So it's really important what happens in the States because it sets the tone for the rest of the world. So that's part 1 out of the way, and in part 2, we're also going to exercise our First Amendment rights to free speech, and we're going to tell you what's happened.